Hello, friends. I'm gonna let my hair down for this. We're getting real, right, Mom? Anyway, this video, I guess, could be more a serious one. Some might say. I don't know about all that. But, we're talking about narcissistic abuse, which is like a more, serious topic. And, but it's like one of my faves because it's something that, did I plan to be an expert on it? No. Did I, want that for myself? Not necessarily where I dreamed to be as a little child, but here we are. I've learned some lessons along the way, and I'm here to help people. And I also feel like this thought just popped into my head. And I'm thinking, I feel like people kind of glamorize, narcissistic abuse sometimes. And they're, like people who are into psychology. I'm speaking from, experience. I feel like I would, be kind of like a 12, 13-year-old, and probably older. Probably, 14, 15-year-old on YouTube being like, oh, I feel like I watched a lot of story times, and it'd be like, you dated a compulsive liar? That's so fascinating. And, I do have this interest in psychology and abnormal psychology, and disorders and personality disorders. And I do find it interesting. And I feel like people who are gonna glamorize it are just gonna glamorize it. There's not much I can do, but I guess I will say, I just realized this, I don't know, I think this is it. Okay, I will say, how do I make it sound, how do I tell it to you like it is? Because not everyone is demented like me and listens to people talk about their anxiety struggles and is like, ooh, that sounds interesting, I wonder what that's like, and then purposely doesn't sleep so they can develop anxiety. True story. Not everyone's like that, and if you are like that, it's what really can I do, But I can tell you, you're gonna develop PTSD, but that you probably like that anyway. So I will just say, get ready to just after narcissistic abuse, you will be left with no friends, no hobbies. If you had money, and you might end up with no money, that really depends. But you're gonna be stripped, you're gonna be stolen from. It's pretty much your spirit and your soul just experiencing a breaking and entering. And that's how I can describe it to you. So if getting robbed sounds fun to you, by all means, that's I just don't want to romanticize, glamorize anything. It was not a fascinating psychology experiment. I mean, I learned a lot about narcissists because of this. But I got robbed. It's like, yeah. And I'm still like rebuilding. Shit, my roommate's home. Like, I literally thought she was gone. But anyway, I'm still rebuilding the shit that was like taken from me. Yeah. So yeah, that's like a thing. But anyway. Okay, so this video is not about that though. This is gonna be my like lessons that I learned. So, and like what I probably could have done to avoid all of this had I known better. But like, I'm gonna rant again, okay? Narcissistic abuse is an addiction, and like the people who go for it are codependents, which are essentially just addicts. They're just love addicts rather than drug addicts or gambling addicts. They're love addicts. And I am a codependent, which is why I've had like extensive experience with narcissistic abuse. Now, if you grew up in a dysfunctional family system, you might also be a codependent. So, it's nice to read up on these things and get educated. There's Codependents Anonymous. That's helped me in therapy. But, I look at it as an addiction because that's, to me, the most productive way of looking at it. And an addict can know all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a journey. It's a journey, and it's a lot. And it's wisdom. As much as it sucks, it's wisdom. So these are lessons. So I saw a Reddit post this morning, or not Reddit, a Quora post this morning about lessons after like being with a narcissist or sociopath, and I was like, oh, I like that. It puts a very positive spin on a very negative experience. So here we go. I actually made a list this time. Yeah. A lot of my videos are very off the cuff, like not planned, very spontaneous, but I'm like, what if I put effort in? Let's see what happens. So, first lesson that I look back on, but I look back on a significant experience I had during the pandemic with a narcissist, and I'm like, oh my god, had I listened to this, I probably would have been in a different place. But everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in like changing the past, but what it is run at the first red flag. Now this, to many, could seem super obvious. I get that. The second you're like, something happened and I deserved an apology, but instead I got manipulated and given like a PR apology. And I just saw like a million red flags with that like interaction. In that moment, that's the moment. That's when you know. Like, that's just an example. But, the moment someone is like showing you signs that they're kind of manipulative or abusive, or the way they handle conflict is like, or they don't take accountability during conflicts, and they're like blame shifting everything on you. Now I will acknowledge, like, this stuff takes time to kind of learn, like, what all this stuff means. And, like, I feel like even, like, a couple months ago, I didn't really know what, like, manipulation really, truly meant. So I was, I've been pretty ignorant to, like, these topics. So this stuff takes time to learn. But if you're, like, already educated and you're like, oh, I know what's happening here and it's really bad, that's like the moment. Cut it off. Just like cut it off gently, block them, whatever you gotta do. I mean, in my situation, it was actually unique because I like worked with the person, so it took a long time navigating that whole ideal. But yeah, run at the first red flag. Just like the moment you know, because for me, like, I would stay because I didn't know how to cut myself out of relationships very easily. But like, seriously, if someone's been, okay, example would be, I'm sorry if I wasn't being rude, but I can see like how you took it that way, like literally taking all of the accountability off of them and placing it all on you, or like refusing to like apologize, or yeah, any of that stuff. That would be examples of like red flags. And I just thought of another one, like another lesson that I didn't write on my list, so I'm gonna mention it really quick. Listen attentively, be present, because you can let a lot of things slide if you're not really paying close attention. Listen to people with your whole spirit, because even if you don't know what to do, things will figure themselves out for you, but you need to be attentive and aware, especially in the beginning. I would say, like, after you've known someone for a while, you can kind of let go, chill out, and like, just kind of like trust. But like in the beginning, just, I would say, really watching for what is happening. We're like, watch like very attentively people's behaviors, be very focused, all that. Third, I guess, which is seeing the darkness before the light. I actually got this from a podcast that I don't really listen to, but I had this, Call Her Daddy. I had this like moment where I was just like listening to a couple episodes, and it's like, I don't really agree with a lot of things she says. It's not really for me, but so I haven't really like, I've listened to like a couple, but something valuable she mentioned was that she always sees the darkness before the light. This is Alex Cooper, is her name. She always sees the darkness before the light. I'm like, that has been an issue for me in a lot of relationships, is like, I will start off by seeing someone's good side and like giving them the benefit of the doubt. But that's something that I've changed recently, which is start by doubting, start by looking at them and like looking at the problems first, because I would try to push aside the problems and see like the good first, and then the problems would kind of only get bigger. They wouldn't really stop. So I would say, yeah, of course, like seeing the light in someone in the beginning of a relationship is a good thing, and you don't want to just see the bad parts, because that's not fair. Like, that's not something I would want someone to look at me and like only see the bad things. But I would like for someone to look at me and be like, oh, she is this, and that. That might be an issue for me. I might not like that. Instead of like riding along for like years and then being like, oh, I actually hate you more and more every day because of really something that could have been avoided from the very beginning. So yeah, pay attention to the issues first. Try to kind of address them and bring them up if possible. And there might be actually easy solutions for them. And it might actually turn out to be okay, but you know, it's like not pushing aside the issues in the beginning. Fourth lesson, very valuable to me. I feel like I have said that and like before every fact, but that's fine. But this is like, if you take anything away from this video, like this is it. Love takes time. I would read on like Reddit threads or whatever, people say, oh, people who are susceptible to narcissistic abuse, they think that it's because they believe in love at first sight. And I didn't really quite get the connection, but now I get it, because love and trust and true love builds over time. This is something that like I've heard a lot throughout my life, but like it took a long time for me to really own it. But love and trust and stability and everything you need in a healthy relationship, it takes time to build it. So putting on the lens of the long haul, the future. I'm not saying, I mean, some people are not into that. Some people just want a quick little one night stand with passion filled and like sayonara in the morning. So I'm not saying that. But I am saying that yeah, those are cool and stuff, but like that's not how you know, like, I just met the one, this is the one, like, whatever. I mean, you can tell when something clicks. I don't know. I'm kind of like trying to articulate this. What I'm trying to say is that love is something that's built over time, and like not over like 2 months. It's built over periods of time. And I think that sometimes people can connect and they're like, they instantly click and they have a really solid, like, good feeling connection. But even then, it's still gonna take a while to build that solid relationships. It's building, it's kind of like building a house. And you are currently hearing my cat trying to break into like this protein plastic box that has food in it. So that's like what you're hearing in the background happening. So yeah, anyway, anywho, think about building a house, right? If you expect to like okay, like you order on a whole wall, on like 4 walls on Amazon, and then you just slap it together with some like glue, and then you like have a house in like 48 hours that, you know, took you like, you know, it just like you and your friends just like slapped some walls together, and then like you like bought a roof on Amazon and you just like slapped the roof on there. That house is gonna fall apart. Now, if you like sit there and like build it like brick by brick, and then like paint over it, and then like, you know, let it dry and then paint over it again, and then whatever, you're gonna have a house that actually like stays up and like can withstand like weather, and all that. So like literally you can compare a relationship to like building anything, and if you go at it the quick and like easy, like quick easy grab way, that shit's gonna fall apart. It's gonna fall apart sooner rather than later. If you take your time on it, be patient, be diligent, be hardworking about it, and like really, you know, pace yourself and like all of that, you're gonna have a sturdy home that's gonna last you years. It's gonna look nice, it's gonna be around, it's gonna withstand issues, like all of that. And that's how love is. If you are looking for quick, I feel like I always looked for some like quick instant because of addiction, quick and instant. I just needed it like right now. The moment I didn't need it is when I could really build. But you know, that takes a lot of self-love and self-fulfillment. So yeah. Fifth lesson is pouring love to the external will not bring love to you. This is a whole thing, right? I'm scared. I'm terrified. Okay. So, these lessons take time. They take time to learn, and they take experience. But I feel like this is something a lot of people kind of struggle with. So, anywho. I feel like I first heard this on RuPaul's podcast, who has given me some amazing advice throughout the years. He says, if you're looking for joy outside of yourself, you're going down a bad road, pretty much. And I think he was like quoting someone else even. But truly, that is the hallmark of codependent relationships, is pouring love into someone else and expecting in return for that person to fill the hole in you and complete you and all of that. Let me let my cat out. So yeah. It doesn't work, and I feel like that's a hard lesson to learn, and people will probably need time to learn it, but it's really kind of the secret. You can pour love into yourself, do the things for you that you'd want a partner to do to you. So for instance, writing yourself a love letter. You know, it might be like, this is so cheesy and whatever, but I don't think it is. I think it's nice. Write yourself unless, you know, some people aren't as romantic, so maybe like, I don't know, whatever your love language is, like, write yourself letters, buy yourself like a gift. I'm so scared. I'm like hiding. Anyway, yeah, buying yourself a gift. I don't know, like take yourself out on a date. Do like nice things for yourself. And then you can actually give to people from like this like whole place rather than this like controlling place that expects something back, you know? And it's something I still feel like I struggle with sometimes, is like relying on other people for my happiness. Because, you know, we all like need people sometimes, and it's totally fine to need people. But yeah, just finding that fulfillment from within is something that I'm still learning. Finding hobbies is like a really good way. Just hobbies and passions and whatnot. So yeah, I guess that's my video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this like was helpful or whatever. And yeah, wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye.